At number 5, we have Guatemala, a country that has been plagued by civil war. In the early 1960s, there was a clash between government and leftist actors which left 200,000 people dead. This has left an imprint of violence on the nation, which in ways has normalised the act of assault and homicide as a way of conflict resolution. Most of the homicide in Guatemala has been directed towards the powerful criminal cartels. Some of the drug cartel members are ex-military officers, giving them politically connected officials that can corrupt much of the legislation or degrade efforts in anti-drug measures. Also, many of the people who make up the cartels are ex-police or ex-military members, making the groups very efficient and dangerous. Some of the key crime linked to high murder rates include kidnapping, ransom, human smuggling, money laundering, extortion, arms trafficking, and drug conflicts. The homicide rate of Guatemala is 39.9 per 100,000 inhabitants. Making its way into number 4 is El Salvador. Described as having a severe organised crime problem, no serious efforts have been made to tackle the root of the problem. The efforts that have been put into place have been very inefficient, poorly executed, and in many cases had no effect on the crime in the area whatsoever. With two very well-known and popularised gangs known as M18 and MS13, many join these groups under the impression of a better way of life and encouraged as a lifestyle, which often leads into criminal activities. As with many of the previous countries, much of the homicide is linked to gang activities throughout the country, such as drug trafficking and kidnapping. It is thought that up to 10,000 members of the MS13 gang are actually involved with drug networks throughout the country and the world. Both men and women are fearful in the streets and urban areas of the cities, with gangs actively seeking new members and making their way of life seem glorified. Many women and young girls are victims of violence, torture, and abuse. The criminal mindset is rooted deep in this country's social structure. The 2012 reports show a 41.2 per 100,000 homicide rate. Recently, more efforts have been made to curb the murder rates by a gang truce initiative to stop gang violence, which in some areas have worked efficiently. In at number 3, we once again have a crime-torn country of Belize. Human trafficking, drug trade, and smuggling routes throughout the country is a prevalent problem. While it isn't as widespread as countries like El Salvador, the homicide rate is still higher. Police departments have implemented multiple measures to tackle the crime in the country, from serious crimes such as rape down to minor disputes, mostly focusing in on the hotspots to get to the main cause of the problem. Some of the crime in the country has dropped significantly over the last few years, but at no point has it been considered stable. Gang warfare results in murders throughout the cities and urban areas of the country, as well as rape, robberies and burglaries still being prevalent. Many developed countries discourage their citizens from travelling to the area due to the risk of kidnapping for ransom or simply being attacked. This has had a negative impact on the tourist trade, leading to poorer economics in certain areas and making gang life seem more appealing to the local residents. For every 100,000 people, the murder rate was 44.7 as of the 2012 reports. In at number 2, we have Venezuela, ranked as the most insecure nation in the world by Gallup in 2013, and the United Nations stating that crime is rife due to poor economics and bad political decisions. It isn't looking good for Venezuela. A national poll revealed that only 19% of those who reside in the countries feel safe walking alone at night. This was also compounded by a quarter of those people polled stating they knew a person who had money stolen from them. In 2009, the government tried a new series of security measures to get to the problem, but many were described as timid or inefficient. These measures had little to no effect on the drug trafficking routes through the country and around the world. Due to the routes gangs use and their activities, this has been linked to an increased homicide rate. This is not helped as the government officials are actively restricting the homicide rate statistics for the nation. Many of those killed in the country are young men between the ages of 15 to 34, which are often attracted to the gang's lifestyle and offers a better way of life due to no alternative really being offered due to poor economics. Due to all of the gang activities, kidnappings and robberies, the homicide rate is 53.7 in every 100,000 people. It is believed that this rate will increase over the next few years thanks to government corruption. Finally, our number one spot goes to Honduras. The murder rate is staggering and makes all the other countries look safe in comparison. United Nations officials on drugs and crime has called the border between northwest Honduras and southwest Guatemala as one of the most dangerous places to be. Honduras is plagued by poverty, gangs and low conviction rates, making it an epicenter for criminal activities. Many men actively carry firearms and knives throughout the regions, which often leads to violence and assaults. And the gangs have got so brazen that they have started to target tourist areas for robberies. Many buses taking visitors from airports to hotels are routinely stopped by groups in an attempt to steal tourist possessions. The poor economics of the country has also led to a very poor police force, which is often badly equipped for the level of crime they face on a daily basis. In many cases, the gang members and groups are actually better equipped than the police themselves, making Honduras one of the central areas for drug trafficking routes to the US. US Peace Corps offered help to Honduras between 1963 and 2012, but were withdrawn immediately from the country when they were targets of crime. One member was shot in the leg at a bus stop, which led to the group being instantly withdrawn. With a staggering 90.4 per 100,000 people killed, Honduras is one of the most dangerous places to visit and easily has the highest murder rate of any country in the world.